Welcome to the Lincoln City Urban Renewal Agency meeting of April 28th, 2014. Let's have a roll call, please.
Roger Sprague.
Here.
Dick Anderson.
Here.
Gordon Eggleton.
Here.
Gary Ellingson.
Here.
Chester Norikis.
Here.
Wes Ryan.
Here.
And Henry Quant.
Here.
We have a slot where citizens present can come before the agency and ask questions or whatever they want. Anybody want to come forward? I guess we'll move on to the minutes of the April 14th, 2014 meeting. Are there any corrections or additions?
I'll move for approval of the April 14th, 2014 meeting minutes.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. We have a special order of business, an intergovernmental agreement between Lincoln City and the Urban Renewal Agency. Mr. Ron Tierney, please.
Well, first of all, apologize. I addressed my memo to the former chair of the agency rather than the current chair of the agency.
Not a problem.
Okay. It just dawned on me. Okay. And this may not be the proper venue, but it leads me into the discussion item we're going to have. I'll give you a quick update on the sale of water bonds that the City Council had authorized. And just very quickly, we sent out RFPs to 9 financial institutions. We received 3 responses. Only one of the 3 would give us a fixed interest rate. The other 2, and that one gave us a rate for 30 days. The other 2 we were to renegotiate 2 days before closing. They gave us a preliminary rate, but it required 2 days before closing. One of them would not back away from that. The other one did come through with a fixed rate, which was 4 basis points higher than the one we accepted. We accepted a rate of 2.80 from Columbia Bank, which is the bank that purchased West Coast Bank. We signed those papers on April the 17th, and the money is in the bank. Excuse me, it was 2.81. And the other one was 2.84, and that's for 10 years. During those discussions with those banks, we got a feel for the urban renewal financing. And everyone was hesitant the way we had it structured, directly from urban renewal, and the reason being is the security. They are used to having 100% of all tax increment that comes into the agency as security against their loan. We're only pledging 20% because we're releasing 80% to the overlapping taxing districts. We got negative comments and responses from all that we talked to. So the solution to that was for the city to actually do the borrowing. The city pledging its full faith and credit just like it did on the water bonds. At the same time, the city and the Urban Renewal Agency would negotiate an intergovernmental agreement or a loan, which would have exactly the same terms as whatever the city negotiated with an outside institution. What the Urban Renewal Agency would do is collect the increment just like it would have before, except they'll send a check. We don't do it that way, but they'll send a check to the city of Lincoln City to pay on that loan. The city in turn will take that money and pay the financial institution. So the terms will be exactly the same thing. The monthly payment, or not monthly, the semi-annual payment will be the same. But by the city pledging its full faith and credit, we can now go send out the RFPs to as many as before. What I'm afraid of, we were only going to get one bid, is what I was afraid of. Hopefully now we'll get more than one. But I do know we will have one because they've loaned to us in the past for urban renewal and are well aware of our agency and what we do and everything. But I was afraid that would be the only bid we would get. So that's what I've kind of tried to explain to you in the memo. What I recommend that the agency do is approve the resolution that's in your packet, which is setting up, or even that's the title of that. What it's doing is authorizing indebtedness for capital projects to the city of Lincoln City. And then there's an intergovernmental agreement that won't be executed until we sell the bonds, because we got to know what the terms are going to be so we can make them identical on both loans and everything. So that'll be 30 days down the road. And then when you get to the city side will have an authorization to sell bonds backed by the full faith and credit, and also enter into this intergovernmental agreement.
With urban renewal, with the agency?
With the agency, right. I'm open for any questions.
No questions?
What I think this will actually do is get us an interest rate that's going to be less than the one we had on the water bonds, I think. And the main reason behind that is the length of time. This one is only for 4 years, where the water bonds were for 10 years. And we had people on the water bonds that did not bid because they did not want to loan out longer than 4 to 7 years. It's because everyone's expecting interest rates to someday start sliding upward. So I think just because of the length of the debt, that it will be less than the other, but I'm not speculating any further than that. And that was another thing I wanted to say about the water bonds, where they would not commit for that 30-day period. I wasn't about to speculate on interest rates and come up to a new rate 2 days before closing. I don't know where rates were going to go. I have no idea, and I'm not speculating with city money to do that. And that's what we try to tell the financial institutions. We won't do it without a fixed rate for 30 days.
And the odds are the rates would not be going down, but rather up?
Well, they're just protecting themselves.
Sure.
That's all they're doing. Actually, they went up about 10 basis points, and then they dropped back down about 10 basis points, and actually settled in just about where it was when we started. But I'm not going there.
I have a question for you about, or maybe a comment. We paid off water bonds and we've paid off other bonds, so the addition of these bonds is not changing our credit standing as far as being able to bond is concerned.
Correct. On the urban renewal side, we had a 2004 issue and a 2007 issue. I paid both of those off in December. On the city side, we have obviously the sewer bonds that are backed by property tax. We had 2 water bonds that we paid off in September. I paid one in September and one in February. And it's the revenue from the one in February that is going to make the payments on the new loan, plus a little bit of the other one. But it's already existing revenue.
So it's not costing the city any additional as we go on forward.
No.
Good. Any other questions?
Understood?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Attorney. Let's see, we have no public hearings. So we have a resolution, Urban Renewal 2014-06, a resolution of the Urban Renewal Agency of the City of Lincoln City, Oregon, authorizing indebtedness for capital projects described in the Urban Renewal Plan for the year 2000 development area.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I would move that we accept or adopt Resolution UR 2014-06.
is there a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? How about a roll call?
Ellingson,
Yes.
Sprague,
Yes.
Norikis,
Yes.
Quant,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
and Eggleton. Motion carries.
Thank you. We're down to agency member comments. Anybody have anything for the good of the order? If not, we are adjourned.